Bob. Good afternoon to you.
Oh, are we there? Are we live? Are we live, Janice?
So, it says
Fantastic.
on my side we're live.
It does. It says on it. Yeah, meeting is live streaming. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bob Smitherman. I'm with the Worthing Town Crier, which you probably will know as you've come to our live Facebook page. I'm delighted to be joined by the gorgeous Janice Moore from the Glamour Club. Just for you,
Hi, everyone.
I've even
good afternoon.
I've even got out the best china for you, Janice.
Thank you, Bob.
With my tea, because we love a cup of tea, don't we, Janice?
We do, actually. It's funny you should say that because I got out my best china as well.
Perfect, absolutely perfect. And of course, today is a very special day. It's the 75th anniversary from the actual end of World War II, otherwise known as VJ Day, Victory in Japan, or otherwise known in parts of the world as Victory in the Pacific. And we had a wonderful commemoration where it was an absolute privilege to be at the town hall with the mayor this morning at 11:10. I and over 100 town criers from around the world in their time zone. So obviously Australia started first. I woke up watching their cries this morning, but at 11:10 in the various time zones, we all read our special cry for peace from our scrolls. This is my scroll. And I read the cry for peace, and it's obviously I won't read it to you now, but you'll see it on the Facebook page. It's all there. It was a very, very moving experience. We were joined by Ted Hunt, a 100-year-old veteran, as well as veterans from various conflicts around the world. Obviously, it was not the sort of event we had planned because we are still social distancing because of this dreadful pandemic. But wonderfully, thankfully, we've got this amazing technology we call Zoom, haven't we, Janice?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you getting used to Zoom?
Yeah, I've been using it. I actually used it before the pandemic for some of my corporate, a lot of my corporate meetings. You know, we do a lot because of technology. It's kind of opened up a big global world, isn't it? So yeah, I really like Zoom.
Oh no, it's fantastic. It's taken me quite a while to get the hang of it, I have to say. I took out a Zoom Pro account because I thought that was the right thing to do at the start of lockdown. But it's taken me quite a while to work out how to do the sort of live streaming. And we'll be eternally grateful to Lord Joseph McCrail Baitup, the town crier for Canberra in Australia, who now joins us every Saturday evening. We do a quiz in Worthing on Zoom. He now joins us from Australia, and he was very helpful in literally talking me through, as somebody who doesn't really quite get this sort of thing, he literally taught me through exactly how to set up Zoom, where the settings were for the live stream, and it's just been amazing. So we do that now, and also we can do that here as well, which is absolutely brilliant.
Can I just ask you a question, Bob?
Because of course.
We all know you in Worthing, and of course around the world. During this pandemic, you have cheered us up no end. You know, you have shown that great British spirit, you know, which we are known for. Having lived in many different countries myself, it's really funny hearing the stories of what people think everybody is like in a certain land, you know. So I wonder, for all of our people watching us, because my friends are watching as well from Australia.
Oh, wonderful.
Hello, Leonie.
Yeah.
She's in Brisbane. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the history of town crying. Why, you know, what is the purpose, the function?
Obviously, the function, we are the original newsmen. We spread the news. Of course, nowadays, you can turn on Sky News or BBC News, and 24 hours a day, you can get all sorts of news. But long before newspapers, long before 24-hour news, the only way the population of the world could get their news was from a town crier. And that's somebody with obviously a very loud voice and a very loud bell. I've just got the small one today, just for today's purposes. And obviously the words "oh yay, oh yay, oh yay," which is Anglo-Norman for to listen, and that's to get people's attention. So that's why when you see me on the streets, you hear me say "oh yay, oh yay, oh yay" 3 times. Ring that bell. That's to get people's attention to listen. Of course, nowadays with the advance of smartphones and thankfully during this pandemic, we're very grateful for all of that. because we're able to do this sort of thing. But it's hard to imagine a world when actually the only way you could find out what was going on in your community was somebody like me actually rocking up outside your house or in a, outside the civic building or wherever it was. In Worthing, we've got Speaker's Corner down at Splash Point. The town crier would stand there 200-300 years ago, tell you about their council tax or whatever it was called in those days, the taxes. They tell you the latest news on criminals, the outcome from court hearings and so on.
Wow.
And of course, it was a very different world then. Obviously, we were very different laws then. But to follow in that sort of historical footsteps is just something incredibly special, Janice. Obviously, Worthing hasn't had a town crier for about 20 years before I was asked to take on the role by the Town Centre Initiative. So to fill in the shoes of some will remember as the last town crier, or Henry Richardson, who was the Victorian town crier, who I played the part of in the community play The Just Cause, which captured, I don't know if you saw the community play, but it was wonderful. It just captured life in Worthing in 1884 of the riots.
Wow. Oh, yes.
The riots in Worthing when the Salvation Army came in and basically told people they couldn't drink alcohol. And the Skeleton Army, or Bonfire Boys as they were known, they clearly rebelled. I love the teapot. They clearly rebelled, and there was riots on the street. And actually, those riots are being commemorated every year. And I'll be out again. Unfortunately, we're doing a shorter route this year, but in a couple of Sundays' time, we actually normally follow the route that the Bonfire Boys took from Speaker's Corner, where we read the Riot Act, up past the Royal Arcade, where an innocent pastry chef was killed in the riots, completely innocently. We pay tribute to him with a minute's silence. We then go to the steps of the Old Town Hall, which is now the Gilbourne Centre. Then we go up for a swift half at the castle, which was the favourite haunt of the Skeleton Army. And then we wander up to Broadwater Cemetery, where many of those Bonfire Boys are laid to rest. And some of the stories are really very, very sad. They said they spent their life in the workhouse in East Preston, and they lived a really, really harsh life. And one of their few luxuries was a beer at the end of what would be a very, very hard day's work, much harder than the likes of you and I would ever imagine. And yet the Salvation Army came along and said they couldn't have a beer at the end of a day's work. So it's really important to remember that this year we're not doing the full route. This year we'll be starting at the Brooksteed, that fantastic micropub in South Farm Road. I'll read the Riot Act outside the Brooksteed, and then we'll wander up South Farm Road until we get to Broadwater Cemetery. I'll read the Riot Act again at the cemetery, and then we'll wander around and we'll see the graves of those Bonfire Boys who are very much part of Worthing's history in the 1800s.
Yes. It's funny you should mention that. Thank you very much, Bob. I mean, I love modern history, and to me that is modern history. And when I was trying to decide whether I wanted to move back to England, that was 22 years ago. My sister had moved back here before me, and I knew Brighton, but I didn't know Worthing. So I was sitting in the stockbrokers in Munich, and it was really in the infancy of the internet. And I thought I would put in what is Worthing famous for, and it came up with those riots.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, I didn't know. So I knew that Worthing was famous for the Salvation Army riots, and I also read that it was famous for figs and cucumbers. Is that true? Have you
Indeed,
heard that?
absolutely. The fig garden again normally opens in July every year. There's a house in South Street, Tarring, called Bishop's Garth. That's obviously now privately owned, but as part of the planning permission for that property, was the council insisted that the owners of that property have to open up their garden to the public and they have an open day where they have a good old traditional afternoon tea. Perhaps we'll come to talk on about that in a minute. And people are shown around their garden, which is the fig garden of Tarring. at the
Oh,
back of Bishop's Garth.
that is
Obviously,
absolutely lovely. I
yeah,
really like that, Bob.
yeah. Sadly, obviously this year for the first time ever, that has to be cancelled. But hopefully the family at Bishop's Garth will be able to open that again next year.
Yeah, I'm going
Because
to go along. I had no idea. I just thought that was something that somebody had written.
yeah, and if you look in the mayor's parlour, you'll remember I was the mayor 7 years ago. There's reference to the cucumbers and the nurseries. The council had nurseries over in West Durrington, and cucumbers were literally transported from West Worthing Station up to London and out to their various destinations. And Worthing was
Oh,
very, very well known for our tomatoes, our cucumbers, and of course our figs.
I suppose they would have been really exotic to people in London then, eating a cucumber.
Absolutely. And
How
that and
lovely.
that's what we were famous for. So,
Yeah.
obviously, we're now famous for the sun and the sea and the town crier, and of course the glamour club.
Yeah, absolutely. And also that beautiful pier, isn't it?
Absolutely, our award-winning pier. Obviously, we've won it. One of the few towns that have won it twice. The pier of the year.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's another pier. I think Cromer won it this year. I think. And obviously, we'll have an opportunity to win it again after a couple of years. I think is how it works out. But we're incredibly proud of our pier. Just really hope that the new owner of the Southern Pavilion is able to get the Southern Pavilion back up and running again. It really is the jewel in the crown of sort of
Absolutely.
afternoon tea and wedding venues right at the end of the sea. You could be sitting in those windows on the Southern Pavilion, and you could easily be looking out on a sunny day on the Mediterranean, and that's right here on our doorsteps in Worthing. So I really hope Damien and the guys from the Perch in Lancing, who are now owning the Southern Pavilion, are able to get that open very soon.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So obviously we've missed 2 glamour clubs now, have we, Janice?
Yeah, we're about to miss another one because it was due to take place on the 22nd of August.
Indeed.
So that's 3 events that we've had to cancel, which is a real shame. I mean, I wonder if I should tell people about the Glamour Club.
I think you definitely should. Especially as you've got the best china out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name's Janice, and I'm the owner and founder of the Glamour Club. And it's a great night out during the day. So it's a bi-monthly event, and you come at noon and you leave at 3. And you what it is, if I read it back a little bit, what we are is we're pioneers and we're activists and catalysts for change. And I was sitting at Kuala Lumpur Airport after being in Southeast Asia for 10 months and reflecting on my fantastic trip, thinking about how chronically lonely I'd been at times. And having worked in mental health, mainly at Trust headquarters, the Sussex Partnership, the NHS Foundation Trust, for 10 years, I'd seen some of the statistics around, and there's so many unnecessary deaths in our society because of loneliness. And sometimes people, even before we had to self-isolate, sometimes people do that because they've been hurt or they're not included, they don't feel like people are listening to them. And I was just sitting at Kuala Lumpur Airport thinking about this, thinking when I get back home, I've got to do something about this for other people and also for myself. I mean, I felt so lonely. So I bought a limited company called It Sucks to Be Lonely Sometimes. And that is based on, because my son Yannick, he's a contemporary dancer, and he'd seen this really ugly wall in Brooklyn, New York, with one sock on it, then another brightly coloured sock. And a lot of people started hearing about this ugly wall, and they started bringing their own colourful socks. We all have that one sock that needs reuniting. So, and it became really famous and a beautiful work of art, on a really ugly wall. And so I bought the company, It Sucks to Be Lonely Sometimes, and that's a companion service for everyone. And we take people out to enjoy themselves wherever they want to go, and we bring them back home safely again. So after 1 year of doing this, I had the idea of the Glamour Club. So we launched on the 10th of October 2018, and we had our launch party video. You were there.
I
What
was.
it is you come at noon, you're greeted on arrival by stilt walking butler and red carpets on occasion. You're ushered to your table by waitresses or waiters who wear barista style aprons. Or I'm going to take this off now, Bob. But don't worry, because I'm just going to put on something else. This is kind of like the apron that I wear for non-formal occasions. That's a lovely, beautiful apron. But what we do is we dress up. We dress up and look the part. So we have these little uniforms that we wear. So that's the hat. You might recognise this type of uniform from the 1900s.
I do.
And I'll tell you a little bit of history in a minute.
Not that I was there in the 1900s, I should say.
But I'll tell you the history afterwards. So this, I don't know if you can see, but this style of little apron. So what it is you'll be ushered to your seat and you'll be made really welcome. What you'll have then is we open the Glamour Club with our theme tune. We ring our bells, and then the town crier also comes in and yays us in with his bell. We sing our theme tune through twice, and then we start with the best vintage entertainment, all our favourite numbers from the flying 40s to the swinging 70s, we say. And that's 3 times 30 minutes. And in between times, you'll be served sandwiches and cakes and a few biscuits and lots of tea and lots of coffee. And on the third, well, actually, people start dancing, and really enjoying themselves. So by the time they come, they've made new friends, and they can go away, and in another couple of months' time, we're on again. And excuse me. So we're vintage and we're themed. So it's all beautiful crockery and linen, and it's all recycled. Everything's eco-friendly. So that's the Glamour Club. But today I was hoping to tell you a little bit about the history of the afternoon tea.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Go for it.
So what happened in the 1900s? There was a lady called Anna Russell, and she was the Duchess of Bedford, and she was the main person who looked after Queen Victoria. And what happened in those days, you had your breakfast and you had to wait until 8 o'clock in the evening to eat again for your dinner. And she felt like what she explained it to be a really low mood. So she decided that she would start having a few cakes and biscuits and some tea, because tea drinking was becoming very popular. And she found that she really enjoyed herself and it lifted her mood. So she started inviting some of her friends over. And this was in Walton Abbey. I'm not quite sure where that is, but when she went back to London, she started doing it with her friends there. And then it became so popular, particularly for the women, because they weren't allowed to go out anywhere. Otherwise, it would be deemed to be, it would be inappropriate. But it was so enjoyable. The guys wanted to start coming. So what it was somewhere to go where you could have an afternoon tea, very respectful. And then they started bringing in music as well so that you could dance. And it really was all the rage, So it was something to look forward to, and it's something that really fills a gap. So this is what we do at the Glamour Club. We bring that really special experience at a really affordable price. Most people can afford to come to the Glamour Club. It's bi-monthly, it's £10, it's all you can eat and drink. So you can save up. And the really nice thing about it is that you can share the experience with friends. And this is why it's just taken off like a rocket, you know. So what's happened during COVID is we are keeping in touch with all of our customers, and people have been telling me that they would want a Glamour Club takeaway experience. So I've been studying for my food and hygiene exams, and we passed with a level 5 yesterday.
Oh, fantastic.
So we can now provide a Glamour Club experience at home, but we've got different packages. And I wonder if I should say about that then, Bob.
Oh, I think you should.
Yeah.
They're all on tenterhooks, waiting on your every word.
So basically, it's a takeaway experience. We're open 7 days a week, and we've got a 2-hour window. So we'll take our orders the day before and up to about 10 o'clock on the day, and we can provide you with cakes and with biscuits and a nice little tea bag so you can make a nice cup of tea, and you can have a cake and some biscuits with it. But what we're doing is we're putting on the Ritz, and we're going to enjoy an afternoon tea. Preferably, there is a tradition around the way that you should prepare your tea. It's normally loose leaf tea, but we'll be delivering it with bags. And then if you have sugar in your tea, you've got to, with the spoon, you do it clockwise, and then you put it on the side. Then you drink your tea, and you really start enjoying your cakes and your biscuits. So basically, the big one is the Top Hat Oh Yay experience.
Oh, I love an oh yay, Janice.
So what we'll do is we come along with the town crier, and we'll be dressed in our waitress outfits, and we've got little trolleys, little traditional trolleys, and we'll come with all the beautiful crockery, candelabras, and all sorts of different props.
Just like this.
To make your afternoon tea really special. We will be able to deliver in is it the Borough of Worthing, and it'll be £5 a head. That's from now for a whole month. So it's a £5 a head, and we need to cater for 4 people. There'll be like a small charge for petrol money, but it won't be very much. It really will just be to cover the costs, you know. So
is it a minimum of 4, Janice?
It's a minimum of 4. So it's 4 people. So it's ideal for places like places where people are already communal living. So a lot of residential homes, or people who live in that type of facility or home. They sometimes have little clubs where they put in a certain amount of money every
That's right.
week.
Yeah.
And so they build up a kitty. So this will be something really special to look forward to.
And what better way to spend your kitty on the town crier bringing you afternoon tea?
Well, this is what we think, So, I mean, you can imagine us coming down the street, can't you, with our beautiful teapots, our lovely baskets of tableware and everything. And each of the what we'll be doing is we'll be home baking Victoria sponges and also a chocolate cake, but they are with butter icing. And each one will come with a little flag in the top.
Oh,
so
we love the Union flag. God save the Queen.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I really like about it is the idea that if the Glamour Club is coming to you, that you dress up in your nicest clothes, have it something really, really special. We'll be delivering it on little platters, but you can get out your own cups and teas, or you can hire things from us, and also we're very flexible. If you've got an idea for something, just give us a call, we'll be able to accommodate you somehow. This is all about inclusive community living. We know people are really lonely, Bob, we know it's just been an awful time, you know. And I know from talking to my friends, family, and all of our guests and our volunteers as well, that it's been really tough for all of us. But we're coming through the other side, Bob. And what
Absolutely.
better way to celebrate than something? It's just something to look forward
Definitely. And the good news is you in addition you can also hire some entertainment in now as well. Indoor entertainment, social distancing is now allowed inside. Obviously the Glamour Club, of course, Janice, has some fantastic entertainers such as the lovely Karen Everington, her one woman silhouette show, Ryan Mack, of course, and some amazing entertainers who people can obviously hire as well, can't they?
Well, I mean, we keep in really close contact, particularly with Karen Etherington, who's an ultimate professional. She has been keeping really in close contact with Equity and the government because they're bound by different, you know, they can't just go ahead. So we've been working and keeping in contact with each other, and she's a real expert when it comes to putting on the event. So anything that you have in mind and you're not quite sure, we can get in touch with Karen because we're hoping to collaborate as well so that perhaps we could have an outside garden party, social distance garden party, you know, because I do believe I'm a member of a What the Dickens singing group and Beanie's open mic group. And I do believe that the Cricketers had something last month that was so popular, all social distance, they had to turn
Alan
people
the
away.
Cricketers is brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're ready for business. Whenever you want, you know, people just have to call us, Bob.
Absolutely.
Or they can email us, or they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. And of course, you know, now we've got the hang of Zoom as well. If you're worried about being too close to people, actually Karen organised a fantastic event, which I think you were involved with, weren't you? And I know I was, for VE Day back in May, which was almost right in the middle of lockdown, really. But what a fantastic event, wasn't it? Literally, everyone recorded their little bit with headphones on in their own spaces, and the way she put it together as a whole afternoon's entertainment was just phenomenal. So we can always look to do that sort of thing as well, and we're here to help and make your occasion as special as we can, because it's really important that people end up not being lonely. Loneliness is absolutely a killer, and it's really important to not underestimate how dangerous being lonely can be. Obviously in a world of a global pandemic now, it becomes much harder for us all to actually be able to just spare some time with people, just have a chat. You know, this facility of Zoom that we're doing now, you know, we're live streaming to millions of people around the world. Or maybe not millions, maybe just a couple. maybe just your mum, I don't know.
Do you know, it doesn't matter, Bob.
It doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter.
Because today you've got up and you've done, you know, dressed in your finery, and you've gone and done something really amazing for the town, for the world. And today I've got all dressed up. I've got my home studio ready. I've got all my lovely crockery and everything out, and it's given me something to do. And that's what the Glamour Club takeaway experience is. You're going to feel so special when you've done that. You know, your dull, ordinary day, all of a sudden, you're going to get up, you're going to be really excited that you've got something to look forward to. You're going to feel, you know, we know that food makes us feel really happy, don't we?
Oh, definitely, yeah. That's why I eat lots of it.
Drinking,
that's why I'm so slim.
Happy. You've been to a lot of Glamour Clubs and you've eaten a lot of cake.
I have been to a lot of Glamour Clubs, and I love every single one, and I've missed every one for the last couple of times now, and obviously we're going to miss the next one, which is going to be sad. But we really hope that we can bring the Glamour Club experience right into your living room, and obviously we know with your five-star expertise now, we can bring that right to your door. With me, the town crier, the Glamour Club expertise from Janice. So how can people get in touch, Janice?
Well, I mean, there's a number of ways. You can phone, which is 0786 171 5918. So that if you're listening and you need to get a pencil, it's 0786 171 5918. Or you can email us, which is info@theglamourclub.co.uk. So that's info@theglamourclub.co.uk. We've got a Facebook page. We've got two. We've got one for our events, and we've also got one for the takeaway experience. But we monitor both of them, and we'll answer any questions or queries. So I think a lot of people generally get in touch with us through the Facebook page, but not entirely. We have a whole rake of guests. I mean, we've done 9 events, and we've had over 700 guests. Our launch party video as well. I mean, we've got our own YouTube channel. So the Glamour Club. If you want to go on there to see what we're like, I mean, our launch party video was done by someone who won 4 Emmys for the Harry Potter films and an Emmy most recently. So everything is really good quality, but it's accessible to everybody. And at the Glamour Club, it's £10, but you get live entertainment by one of the best entertainers in the business. It's really beautiful, quintessentially English. There's such a buzz about the place. As soon as you walk in, you're going to be treated like a king and queen for the afternoon, because what we need, Bob, is to listen to each other. We need to talk. In my family, if we don't talk, we don't feel right, you know?
Absolutely, I agree. And of course, we've got obviously we will eventually get back at some point to meeting together. So remind everyone where we're actually meeting. We've got a new home now, haven't we?
Yeah. So we are expanding as well. But our main event is Worthing, and it's bi-monthly, and it's at St Stephen's Cafe Church, which is Broadwater. It's near Wicks. It's over the road from Wicks and Tesco Express, and then you'll see St Stephen's Cafe Church, which is
Angola Road.
That's it, and it's called the Hope Centre, and it's absolutely beautiful in there. All wooden floors and beautiful bunting. That's the other thing. I forgot all of my props and what I was going to say, Bob. But look at this lovely bunting.
Oh, wonderful.
You know, we can bring things like that, and we've got like different styles as well. So if you've got a certain colour, say you wanted all Union Jacks or different colours, we've probably got something that we could sort out for you.
Something for every occasion. Green for St Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I suppose we could dig out the green. That's
blue and white for St Andrew's Day.
Yeah, exactly.
Union Jacks for St George's Day.
I mean, what we do is
the dragon for St David's Day.
Yeah, I mean, so far the way that we do it is we have all red on what's Valentine's Day. That's in February. Then in April or the end of March, we have Easter, so everything's yellow. And then, but it's all vintage themed, but we have a theme on top of it. And then for the summer, we have our summer ball. And then we have a sparkle and twinkle. And then we have our vintage Hollywood, you know, where we have Oscars on the table and top hat and tails and all sorts. So, and then we have our Aloha party, where if you walked in, you would think you were in Hawaii.
Oh, yes.
And October's always our next year anniversary. So that's always a massive, great big party. And then, of course, we have a Christmas do.
And hopefully and fingers crossed we'll be there for October.
Yeah.
You know, if everyone's staying safe and we're allowed to get back and do that.
Yeah. But that's it from me, Bob. I don't think I've got anything else to say.
It's wonderful. I don't know whether we've got any questions on the Facebook page. Are people still watching us? Probably not. I was just check the Facebook page to see if anyone's asked us any questions. If you have got any questions, now is your opportunity to ask Janice and I anything you want to ask us. Lionel Layton says best wishes on your enterprise.
Oh, thank you.
Richard Goodyear, hello, Bob and Janice. Karen, oh, the lovely Karen Effington. Sorry, I'm late. Just popping by.
Oh,
Thank you, Karen. So obviously we got the page there as well. So if you could, for those who didn't manage to get a pen, maybe if you can pop the video will be up after we finish the live. If you can pop those details, how they can phone you, the link to the YouTube onto my Facebook page, and then people will find that information there. That'd be really helpful. People obviously can watch this video afterwards. But that's us.
yeah.
I will be live again this evening at 9 o'clock UK time for our international movie quiz of the week with Lord Joseph from Canberra in Australia, Percy Noel in Worthing, and myself here in Worthing. We've got a fantastic movie quiz lined up with a real international flavour. So if you want to pop over to my Facebook profile, and we will be live streaming there from about 9 o'clock UK time. And if you're in Australia, of course, it's 6 o'clock AM Australian time. People do actually get up early and watch us make a fool of ourselves with our quizzes every week, which is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's good. So it's been absolutely fascinating speaking to you, Janice, and hearing about our wonderful new opportunity. It's be absolutely delight to pop along. So if you want our corporate do, our top hat OEA, you imagine if you want to impress your workforce, what better way to impress your workforce than to actually bring in the town crier and Janice's wonderful afternoon teas into your boardroom. I can't think of a better way to impress the boss. So any ideas like that, or whether it's just a small group, just for 4 of you in your own living room, we can organise all of that. We can put you in touch with entertainers to make the event as special as we possibly can. We're coming to the end now of the live stream. But before we go, it's really important just to remember, if you see somebody going around without a smile on their face, go and give them yours.